Good evening. It's Friday, the 30th of December, and it's time for the news on RIK2. President Anastasiadis today had a long meeting with Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras in Athens, during which they agreed on the strategy and tactics of the Greek side in the Geneva negotiations on Cyprus from January the 9th to 12th. Government spokesman Nikos Christodoulidis said that there has been total agreement on all issues discussed at the meeting, which included both the substance and the procedure of the negotiations. He added that Anastasiadis and Tsipras decided to promote these decisions in meetings with European Union and United Nations officials and continue consultations on all levels up to the Geneva meetings. Our correspondent in Athens said Tsipras briefed President Anastasiadis on the outcome of a meeting of the Secretary-Generals of the Foreign Ministries of Greece and Turkey in Ankara 2 days ago. He quoted well-informed sources as saying that the meeting was not held in a good climate and that the discussions had been difficult and unproductive. The two officials were reported to have failed to reach common ground for a meeting between Tsipras and Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan ahead of the Geneva negotiations. Christodoulidis also said that no such meeting has been agreed upon. Russian ambassador to Cyprus Stanislav Osachi has again stated his country's readiness to take part in an international conference in Geneva on Cyprus if asked to do so. Osachi was talking to journalists after attending an event of the youth organization of a girl party. He added that the two parties in the Cyprus negotiations are the ones who will decide who to invite, and the United Nations will convey invitations. Hegel leader Andros Kyprianou again asked other parties to give their support to President Anastasiadis when he will be in negotiations with Turkish Cypriot leader Mustafa Kenci in Geneva. He also said that Hegel will follow what it called a constructive stance on the negotiations, but will not accept just anything that will come out of the talks. Kyprianou urged Anastasiadis to be decisive in the negotiations, but also to avoid mistakes, but he did not explain what he meant. Deposits in Cypriot banks by non-Cypriots registered a dramatic decline this year, dropping by about 19.6% in November on a year-on-year basis, but an increase in the deposits by Cypriots and EU residents helped total deposits rise by 6.8%. A central bank statement said that deposits held by non-Cypriots and Eurozone residents dropped to €9.4 billion in November compared to €11.7 billion in November 2015, though a slight increase of €100 million was registered from October this year. The figures released by the central bank underline the dramatic decline of deposits by third country nationals relative to the period before the 2013 crisis, when foreign deposits formed the largest single part of total deposits in the Cypriot banking system. Current total deposits stand close to €49 billion, of which €36.3 billion come from Cypriots, €3.2 billion from other Eurozone residents, and €9.4 billion from residents of the rest of the world. The central bank said that the drop in foreign deposits was offset by an increase of 10% in domestic deposits, representing a rise of €3.4 billion compared to a year ago. A nationwide ceasefire in Syria, brokered by Russia and Turkey, appeared to hold after a shaky start during the night in the latest attempt to end nearly 6 years of bloodshed. But Russian planes were reported to have carried out 3 successful strikes today against Islamic State, which is not a party to the ceasefire, in support of Turkish operations against the radical group. Monitors and a rebel official reported clashes almost immediately after the truce took force at midnight, but some hours later calm prevailed in areas included in the deal. But the ceasefire will have to hold before talks can take place, as there was confusion over which rebel groups would be covered by the deal. Russian President Vladimir Putin said today that he will not expel anyone in response to U.S. sanctions. U.S. President Barack Obama yesterday ordered the expulsion of 35 Russian suspected spies and imposed sanctions on 2 Russian intelligence agencies over their involvement in hacking U.S. political groups in the 2016 presidential election. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that the allegations were unfounded and added that Russia would not leave the sanctions unanswered. Lavrov was quoted as saying he had proposed measures to expel 35 U.S. diplomats and ban U.S. diplomatic staff from using a dacha and a warehouse in Moscow in retaliation to similar action by the United States to President Vladimir Putin. It was not immediately clear whether President-elect Donald Trump, who has repeatedly praised Putin and nominated people seen as friendly toward Moscow to senior administration posts, would seek to roll back the measures once he takes office on January the 20th. The Turkish Parliament's Constitutional Commission has approved a draft constitutional reform law paving the way for the General Assembly to debate a bill expanding the president's power. After a parliamentary vote, Turkey is set to hold a referendum on the changes by spring, a move that would enable President Tayyip Erdogan to acquire the executive presidency he has long sought. The Commission completed approval of the draft in a marathon 17-hour session that finished early today. Debate on the bill is expected to begin in the Parliament's main assembly in January. The Water Development Department has said that there has been a satisfactory flow of water into reservoirs following the recent rainy spell, but the overall situation of collected water is still dismal. The director for the Water Department, Andreas Manoli, said that water that was collected up to now this season has reached about 2.5 million cubic meters. However, he added that this made little difference as all dams contain less than 20% of their capacity. Manoli said the largest flow of water was in the Kouros Dam near Limassol, the biggest in Cyprus, with about 500,000 cubic meters, followed by the Asprogremos Dam in Paphos and the Armino Dam, also in Paphos. He said that some of the smaller dams have overflowed, including the Gallobanayodis Reservoir. And now a look at the weather. It will be partly cloudy tomorrow with isolated rain and showers and snow at times over higher ground. Winds will be moderate to fresh, mostly southwesterly to westerly, becoming strong in windward areas force 6. The sea will be moderate to stormy. Temperatures will reach 13 Celsius inland and in coastal areas and 3 over the mountains. More rain and snow is forecast for the next 2 days, and cloudy weather at times is expected on Tuesday. Temperatures will drop slightly on Sunday and go up slightly on Tuesday. The depth of snow is 60 centimetres on Mount Olympus and 50 centimetres on the Troodos Square. That's all for today. Join us tomorrow again for more news in English. Have a very good evening.